discussion of the evening. Now, finally, the Senate removed the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, Danladi Umar, over alleged gross misconduct. Danladi Umar was removed in line with the provisions of the Section 157, subsection 1 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 1999 as amended, which empowers the Senate to remove key public officials following due process. The Senate noted that Umar's removal was due to his gross level of misconduct, which was unbecoming of his office as the chair of a sensitive agency in the country. All right, Justice Ojedop, very quickly now, a closed-door session lasting over 1 hour, 1.5 hours, with more than 84 lawmakers supporting the removal of Danladi Umar as the chairman of the Conduct Bureau. Now, how do you react to this news?
I think that it took too long. He ought to have been out of that office as far back as 2019, when he practically birthed the grave injustice to the judiciary that he was a part of in that year. The greatest disgrace and shame was brought to the judiciary in 2019, when there was no lawyer that actually swore to anything, that swore to the motion, that appended their name to a motion. And this was the chairman that used that motion to remove a Chief Justice of Nigeria at that time. And he was also popularly, you remember one show of shame that happened at a mall in Abuja, where he practically, I think, physically abused a security man. And a lot of things that he was used to achieve by the members of the executive in that particular year, and subsequently, it was practically a henchman to deal with office holders, public office holders. So as far as I'm concerned, there is
This was long overdue.
Since 2019, I don't know how he stayed for an extra 5 years.
Now, Supriya Lamimbre, from his argument, one would wonder why it took so long, right, to curb the excess of Danladi Umar, seeing that this is not the first time he's involved in controversial cases. What do you think really is going on at that level of government?
Well, all these things have political undertone to them, whether we like it or not. Well, unfortunately, the CCT chairman has been embroiled in a lot of scandals. And there was a time the EFCC also accused him of corruption and, the whole issue at Banex and the rest of that. But, you see, his removal itself, some legal practitioners have also faulted his removal as not following the
due process
of the law.
Okay.
It's supposed to be the two houses of the National Assembly, the House of Reps and the Senate, according to some lawyers. While some have said his removal was in line with the provisions of the law. No, so it's various interpretations.
So why?
I do not agree with.
Okay, why this?
I don't agree with my learned brother.
Okay,
I'm a very good brother at that.
Please enlighten.
Let me tell you why.
All right.
There is nowhere in the world where you can interpret the provisions of the Constitution that way. When there is nomination, there are a lot of appointments in the Constitution. We usually talk about nomination, confirmation, appointment. And that usually happens. If it's for the judiciary, there's usually the NJC, they nominates, then the president appoints, then the Senate confirms. There is nowhere, usually, where the second house, and when I say there is nowhere, I'm practically talking about America, where we got it from, and Nigeria, where we are also using it. It is usually only the Senate that actually has the power to confirm. We want to appoint a minister, for example. It's usually Senate confirmation. There is never, ever House of Rep participation. It's one of the exclusive rights that the Senate enjoys over the House of Representatives that make them call the Senate the higher house over the House of Representatives.
I'm even worried. You are saying this took too long to happen.
Yes.
You are saying some lawyers are still faulting the process that took him out.
Yes.
What exactly
usually say
are
two
we...
lawyers, three opinions. So it's perfectly possible that you pay one lawyer and he's fighting for the interpretation that you want.
But I thought the goal here is to phase out, irregularities from government.
But the problem is this. The problem is this. The lack of
cohesion
from both the government and also that's the executive and the legislature in his removal, right? That is one thing. People are saying it was done behind closed doors. Some people are saying different interpretation. The point is this: the code of conduct is meant to be the conscience and the compass of
eagle eye.
Yes, those in the public office.
Okay.
When someone is the head of the Code of Conduct Tribunal and is seen to be doing things that are inherently that faults his position as the position he holds as the head of that tribunal, then there's a problem.
Okay, now
but the question is, the person we are bringing now to replace him too, is the person going to be another Danladi or worse than Danladi? Because it's always been the case with all these things.
Okay, are we saying now, concluding here now, that the level of corruption in government is the reason why he took so long for Danladi to be removed up until now?
Potentially so. That's number one. Number two, his level of political backing was just too high. He has done a lot of favors that made the powers that be, especially at the time, to actually look past and beyond all of his wrongs, because he has done some heavy favors. So he too he had to be paid in loyalty, and that was why I think that his stay there was perpetuated, because ordinarily there is no way on God's green earth somebody as bereft of integrity will stay for such a protracted period in such a sensitive office.
Now you're sounding like a man in court already.
But based on what he said now, based on what he has said, he is saying that the point he's making is that the Code of Conduct Tribunal has been politicized. That institution is not meant to be politicized. You are meant to watch public officials who have been elected, most of them elected through political processes. Yet you're being politicized. What do you expect?
Okay, now if you're saying if that seat
but it seems the institution itself is being politicized.
If that seat has been politicized right now, what recommendations would you be, offering as to who should really sit there and do the job? 30 seconds, please.
Okay, my recommendation is that as much as possible, it should be a depoliticized person to allay the
now you are using legal terms to dribble on.
To allay the fears of memory, because so that whatever it is that happened in the past should never repeat
in 15 seconds.
Well, the truth is that, as he said, someone that has character, someone that has a track record, someone that can stand and implement the provisions that guides the establishment of the tribunal and what the Constitution says about public officials. That kind of person is who we need there, not someone that will be another Danladi Umar, because it's always been like that.
You're sounding very emphatic. Would you like to take the position anyway?
You're not qualified.
I'm not qualified.
Well, thank you so much, Supriela Membre, as a political analyst. Thank you so much for your time. I hope I pronounced your name right. Supriela Membre. Membre. Thank you very much. And of course, Justice General, lawyer and legal practitioner. Thank you for always heeding to our call. All right, and that's our show for today. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our social media platforms at TVC News NG or on our website at tvcnews.tv. I am Mark Otabo. Until next week, goodbye.